Ooh, what happens when you die? Isn't that a great question? Like, what happens when you die? And I don't mean when you die, like, what's the afterlife, if there's afterlife, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what happens if you die or when you die. We're all going to die. There's never an if. It's just the when, right? So, a friend of mine, I said the other day, right? It's been getting more common, right? That somebody passes away. I do Facebook birthdays and I send people birthday messages, and I always go and look at their profile. I think, wow, I haven't seen them for a while or whatever. And I saw one of a friend that, we used to do karaoke and stuff together in Edmonton, and they died last year. And I didn't get any notifications that they died because, we're not that really good friends on Facebook. We're just, Facebook friends and karaoke friends in Edmonton. And I was like, oh, I remember, singing, and, I remember she used to be really shy when she first started singing. Anyways, so it keeps bringing me back to this, what happens when you die? And like I said, this is an afterlife thing. This is like, what happens to your stuff, to your children, to your partners, to your friends? What happens when you die? Like, have you ever given it any thought? I used to run a course, and I actually still have an online piece that someone can buy for like $55, I think. And it's called Don't Die Dumb. It's more than a will. And it just helps you get things in order, and it gives a sample will and stuff like that. So it's a really good package. And that helps you answer the questions, what happens when you die? So Dwayne and I talk about this quite often. We're, late 50s, not that we're dying anytime soon, but we have these conversations because I feel, A, it's necessary, or one, it's necessary. Two, it makes the whole process of life and death more valuable, right? And three, then it doesn't really come as a shock. Like, of course, dying would be sad and it would come as a shock. Oh no, Barbie, Lee, of course it would be terrible. But then at the same time, do I have things in place that, it makes it easy for him to take care of paperwork? Because there's paperwork when you die. And I know you probably don't care about the paperwork, but somebody left behind is going to be taking care of that paperwork. And I don't want people in my world, so if I die sooner than planned, which is like I'm planning to die about 123 years old. So if I die sooner than that, I want to make sure that my family, Dwayne, my girls, know, first of all, that I love them, right? So every day there's this, connection and, making sure that they know I love them. But it's more than that. It's, did I clean up my crap, right? Not just my, physical crap, but karmic crap. That's a big one, too. And it really gets me thinking about how I spend my days so that how do I spend my todays so that my tomorrows are better? Because I don't know when I'm going to die. I tell you, I'm pretty certain that I've, had the conversation with the universe. I'm going to die at 123 because I'm going to have a party sometime in my 123rd year. And it's going to be like, 1, 2, 3, go. And she went. And some time after my 123rd birthday, I'm going to be dancing or something, and I'm just going to die. I'm like, ah. So I'm going to fully live until I die. I've already decided that. And I'm taking the steps today. My isogenics, please join me. I'm taking the steps today to make sure that happens, okay? So, but then there's stuff, right? There's we talked to Taylor Ray, my youngest, when we were when we were in Mazatlan. And we're just talking about, we don't have anything of value. We have a motorcycle, big deal, right? Our computers are a few years old. We have a toaster oven. But, literally, I said, there's no reason to come to Mexico to claim anything or anything other than our bank account. And that is something that the Mexicans say you have to come. So she's my beneficiary on there. So I said, other than that, I said, we've cleaned up everything. I said, anything of value you kids already have. We have some rings from their grandparents and their great-grandma and stuff like that. But otherwise, Dwayne and I have cleaned up some stuff. We still own a house, so that has to be taken care of. But really, in our investments, but we have the paperwork in place. My isogenics business even gets willed to my children, because I thought about what happens when I die. I want to make sure my kids can just grieve and not go, "Fuck, Mom," because when my mom died, as much as she thought she was organized, I was like, "Fuck, Mother, what did you do?" She had credit card debt, and she had a couple of different credit cards in different names. Like some were like her initials and her last name. Some was her first name and one of her middle names, which isn't even her legal name, and her last name. And then the other one, it was just crazy. So getting the death certificate and such was a little more of a challenge, because I had to put her non-legal name on there, and that was a feat. Anyways. So don't have your children or your family or whoever's cleaning up after you go, "Fuck," every time they have to deal with something, because there's stuff to deal with. Do you know it takes about 18 months after you die for CRA to declare you dead? For CRA to declare you dead. The doctors will declare you dead, but until about 18 months until you pay your final death tax, seriously, you're dead and you still have to pay a final death tax. Takes about 18 months. And if you have other stuff that's convoluted in there, it can take more than 18 months. So someone is going to be cleaning up your mess. So I'm just going to challenge you, wherever you are in the world, clean up your freaking mess. If you have, a storage unit, go clean it up, right? You're probably not using this stuff. If you haven't used it in 6 months, probably sell it. Now, I know, you might say, "Oh, but it's my summer stuff." Great, that's different. If you haven't used it last summer, use it this summer. But the point is this: what happens when you die? Do you want to be remembered as, or do you want to be remembered as, you know what I mean? You get to choose. This part of your life where you're still alive, you get to choose. This is why I call my business Quality of Life Assurance. Because your quality of life is everything, right? We don't know the quantity of life, but I don't know about you, but I want a high quality of life. That's why we moved to Mexico, right? The sun shines. People here are a little more laid back. They're playing music. The tienda outside here is always playing music. Excuse me. The ocean is right there. It's a much better quality of life. This is the thing that I chose for me. Dwayne chose for him. I don't know when I'm going to die. Hi, who's that? Who's tapping the screen? I love when people tap the screen. I like to when you say hi, too. I don't know when I'm going to die. I just know that when it happens, I can literally die in peace and not worry about, oh my gosh. I have a friend, a number of years ago, my friend calls me up. He goes, "You got your will in order?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Do people know how to run your business?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Good." He hangs up. I'm like, "What?" I called him back. I'm like, "What's up?" He had a friend that got a diagnosis, a male customer of his. Doesn't matter. And the husband ran the business 100%. Wife had no idea. Husband got really sick, and he had about 5-6 weeks to live. The cancer, his body was riddled. He might have had 5 or 6 weeks to live. And guess how he spent that last 5 weeks? Teaching my friend and his wife how to run his business, because his wife has no clue about computers or anything like this. And he spent the last 5 weeks of his life teaching, hi sunshine, teaching his wife how to keep having an income when he dies. Can you imagine? You're dying, you're really sick, but you have to teach someone your business because you didn't take care of that while you were living because you just got so caught up in running your business, That's the same thing with life. Yeah. If you have a job and you walk away from a job because you died, you didn't really walk away, you died. Your job is going to be online before your obituary. Doesn't that say something crazy about how much time and energy we put into work and not into life? Quality of life, right? That's what I say. Quality of life assurance. How do you assure your quality of life? Well, one of them is taking care of the stuff, getting the stuff ready, right? I have a file called When I Die. My kids know how to access it. It has It doesn't have like personal pertinent information or personal information, but it has pertinent information. So it says the banks that I hold credit cards with, right? It has the banks that I have accounts in. It has the contact information for my investments. So it doesn't have like all my, it has the contact information about who holds my life insurance and stuff. This makes it nice and easy. They open up a file when I die and they just start making the phone calls. Hey, mom died, what do I do? Hey, mom died, what do I do? Right? And they get to take care of it. And then they can grieve and they don't have to go, where the fuck is that information? I don't even know. I don't know mom has a bank account. Right? So I'm going to challenge you. Don't die dumb. It's more than a will. If you have no idea how to get things set up, let me know. I'll send you a link. You can buy my program. It's $55. It has some videos. It has some documents that you can have. And it shows you how to write a will and how to make it legal. And no, you don't need a lawyer if you're not, if you don't have a bunch of holdings, you don't need a lawyer. But you need a will, and you need directives, and you need to clean up your crap because nobody else wants to clean it up for you. So what happens when you die? It's a great question. Have a conversation with me. Cheers.